for real, I owe you guys. I missed out on so many uploads, mainly because of educational reasons and a lack of motivation of sort. Sure. Nobody interrupts. Because for the past few weeks of me not uploading, rarely even uploading consistently of Raw or SmackDown, because the show sucks so badly and the build-up is so mediocre that I'm really going to waste time watching a 5-hour show that I'm really not going to like. And we tried to make sure we don't turn off the exit out of WWE Network and find something else to do on a Sunday night. I literally wanted to invite some family members over. I just wanted to make a pay-per-view event just look fun for us because it's WrestleMania and it's ass. It was ass. And as much as people want to tell you, oh, it was exciting, unpredictable, WrestleMania does what it does. It delivers. It's supposed to be unexpected. It's a pay-per-view. But it was so predictable. The finishes were stupid. And I'm actually going to make this special. This is going to be a long video. And my nigga, I have watched Kickoff. I'm going to tell you everything that happened. Buddy Murphy lost to Tony Nese in a decent match off a decent finish. Literally, the best part of the show was the finish off an exposed knee to the face for Buddy Murphy that had a pretty good lengthy reign, even though he's been the best part of 205 Live. Just to lose to Tony Nese, I think it's going to be a back and forth feud. I don't know. I'm just going to determine that by the next time they show off. That's Money in the Bank. Next up was the Women's Battle Royal. I did not watch this, but I heard that from the volume that I heard that Carmella won. You know, it acquired Sonya Deville, Nikki Cross, Maria Kanellis that I didn't even know that was still employed, Mickie James, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Kairi Sane, Selena Vega, Carmella, Dana Brooke. It wasn't that much. There was one time they were interviewing these two guys, one of these guys that they commentated before the Battle Royal for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, plus the Andre the Giant Battle Royal was in Kickoff, plus Braun Strowman was in Kickoff. Your top guy that was supposed to be your top monster in the company is on Kickoff fucking around with some SNL faggots. And I can't censor myself because I don't edit. Next, we have the Revival against the Jobbers 2.0. So obviously, if you have a consistent losing team on pay-per-view, I knew they were going to win because they're jobbers. They need to win if you're willing to at least have a feel-good moment, because the Revival have been in this controversial way of staying Raw Tag Team Champions after winning them back, I think, last year, and yet to lose, even against Ricochet and Aleister Black. There's very little competition in the Raw Tag division. I think they're planning on leaving. So, yeah, it was a decent match. Most of it been just waiting for Kurt Hawkins to just get his hot tag in to just do a decent enziguri and a few moves. There was a stupid Rough Rider that barely got a 2 count. But they picked up the victory off a stupid roll-up by Kurt Hawkins. It was a stupid match. The only thing that caught my eye was a bit of Zack Ryder got the same color scheme as the Revival. But Kurt Hawkins just wore some what looked like it was supposed to be representing the New York Jets. So forgettable tag team title match in the main event of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal consisted of Andrade, Hardy Boy, Jinder Mahal, Mustafa Ali, Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Saturday Night Live, Colin Jostin, Michael Chi, Braun Strowman, just a couple other guys. No Way Jose is there with that stupid ass colorway he has on his hair. And guess who else made a return? Luke Harper. Luke Harper returned from injury. I thought he was supposed to come the same way as former Bludgeon Brother Reverend. but it came off in it was a big it was a big it was supposed to be a big return. Then we saw him staring on Braun Strowman, and then just other people attacking. Something that could have been the coolest moment of the night, completely ruined. I don't know why this is your kickoff and already a 5-hour pay-per-view. You suspect people to want 2 hours of the kickoff, then 5 hours of the pay-per-view. If you wanted the Revival to lose their tag team titles, you could have done it before Raw so they don't have to defend it. Then you could have had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal in the start of the show. Oh, I'm going to get pissed off when the main show starts in a few seconds. So, the SNL guys did what they would immediately do because obviously these guys are not going to take bumps or do some dumb shit like that until later in the show. So, they literally hit him mainly out of the apron. I really thought Andrade was going to, be one of the last few guys in. And then he did a Hurricane Rana. Then step 2 feet, Hurricane Rana to eliminate one person. And instead of holding the rope so he can Hurricane Rana the guy and still stay in the ring, he Hurricane Rana his opponent and then stood outside the ring. He's eliminated. Because WWE wants Andrade to look like a retard? Must have been his own purposeful mistake, and then they had to leave it to Braun to deal with the SNL guys, because that's like the biggest thing they had on Raw at the moment. Because he said wrestling's fake. So it just ended up with the Braun Strowman just eliminating them both off. We nearly thought he was going to be pulled off by one of the guys after Braun Strowman nearly lost his balance and got eliminated, but he really wanted SNL guys to bury one of the most forgettable stipulations in WrestleMania. That's on kickoff. It's not even on the main card anymore. So, literally, Braun Strowman wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Then we went off backstage to notice that Scott Hall and Kevin, and this is later in the show. I just want to finish this off so I don't have to talk about these guys anymore. So Scott Hall and Kevin Nash can make an appearance because they're old as shit, and plus they're like still making anal jokes. So it had Scott Hall just saying "Hey yo," plus Kevin Nash just trying to get a prostate because nobody remembers his Dr. Nash gimmick from Impact. So Braun Strowman won in a shitty battle royal that nobody will remember. Then immediately after Hulk Hogan was shown off by Alexa Bliss kicking off the show, Paul Heyman just jogged off to the ring. And plus he tried to redo that Silverdome botch, because that's a reference now. What the fuck is wrong with you? You already killed something that was a bit iconic for like the most memorable mistake in WWE history, and then they just drag it off even though you know you're in New York. And it's not even called a dome. He called it the MetLife Arena. I don't know if Hulk Hogan's completely retarded or he just doesn't know that he's literally on a fucking football field. So, Paul Heyman, we kick off the match with the Universal Championship on the line. Yes, our Royal Rumble winner doesn't even have the second to last match in the card. It's literally Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, the opener of WrestleMania. And 7 minutes in, Brock Lesnar just came on guns a-blazing and hit a F5 outside. Seth Rollins was barely selling. The match just continued to rush more until there was 3 curb stomps to finish off Brock Lesnar. While the previous year, you know how much shit Roman Reigns had to go through? That took like several spears to even get him to a 2 count, or at least to leave him on the floor for at least 5 minutes. What the fuck was that supposed to prove? I mean, I don't mind Seth Rollins. I mean, it's good to see Seth Rollins as Universal Champion, but y'all be retarded. You forgot that this is a pay-per-view. I don't think this was completely scheduled. I don't think this was planned. I don't think this was constructed. It's supposed to be a card. You have 5 hours, and you're not even going to show lengthy matches, even with the matches that were anticipated by some fans off the returning Rey Mysterio. And he doesn't even have a match that lasts 10 minutes in a 5-hour show. So Seth Rollins is Universal Champion. He does what he did back at WrestleMania 31 and just toss up, just keep winging around a championship belt. So yes, Seth Rollins was the Universal title. Big feel good moment. They bring up pyro so early into the fucking show. There's so many moments where there's no pyro needed for an entrance. Like Finn Balor doesn't need pyro. Bobby Lashley needs pyro. I don't think he barely even got good one. Barely got good pyro at all. Rollins gets pyro. Randy Orton gotten pyro. It wasn't even a burn in my light shit. So there was drizzle of pyro near the fan, so I guess that was something. So, literally a match that was too quick to call. It was so shitty. It was so rushed that it nearly got us to cancel on the damn show. For real, folks. I'm trying my hardest not to lose my shit because WWE can't constrain themselves to slow the fuck down. It was so easily abrupt. They try to rush spot after spot to make Brock Lesnar still look like he was trying to make this end quickly before the bell has rung. Because literally, he just hit an F5 and a few German suplexes, simplistic shit until we got into the curb stomp. That's literally a Brock Lesnar match now. This is the guy who beat The Rock, Hulk Hogan. Was nearly told that he could have faced off against goddamn Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he comes facing off against Seth Rollins, and what couldn't even be a match to show how tough we could actually see Seth Rollins, but nope, 3 curb stomps, he's gone. Next up was AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, one of the second best matches of the night. There's 3 good matches in the show, so there was at least a few, but it's hard to concentrate. While, folks, to be honest, I just rewatch Raw. I by any means, cause nigga, I'm not watching 3-hour shows. Football's different. It's lengthy. It's supposed to be that way. There's timeouts. There's commercials. There's actual reasons why for a football game. There's no reasons why a wrestling show has to be 3 hours. Unless it's a special event that's involving special guests. That's the only reason why I think you should have a Raw that's 3 hours. I could barely enjoy WrestleMania because I watched Kickoff. And AJ Styles had a pretty decent match with Randy Orton. It was a good forearm smash from the outside. There was a good counter offer in RKO. I didn't know if this was a botch or anything. He got off the springboard. Randy Orton looked like he was trying to counter offer an RKO. He fell straight on his back. I think there was a sell for the leg that Orton was having. So he came off and then hit the 450 on him. So that was a decent spot. The match was alright, but you know how they were going to play it. They just wanted to make AJ Styles win. So it was enough to show how superior Orton Styles was, but it was a really decent match. It's not like, especially for Styles, Styles that been pretty decent as a world champion. He's shown himself to be the top guy in the company. I mean, on SmackDown. But a feud that barely has much build up, and I hate your kind. I'm from indie, even though I came from a developmental branch that's kind of indie-rific. So we should wrestle at WrestleMania. And I don't even mock you. He doesn't even mock him for most of this. Doesn't mock his entrance. Doesn't mock where he came from. Doesn't mock what he used to do. Or why he quit earlier in his career. So this feud is literally built up as a dream match nobody cared about. These guys brought up a decent match, but I don't know if you're ever gonna remember it. Next up was this Spot-tastic. The only reason why they did this multi-man tag team match, a fatal 4-way tag team match for the SmackDown tag titles, because two indie guys like Ricochet and Aleister Black can make a match feel fantastic. Like my favorite match back at Takeover New York was obviously the War Raiders versus Ricochet. This was a really good match. The Usos regained the tag team titles in a really good physical match. Obviously, Cesaro and Sheamus did their spots where they kept counting. It took like several minutes. I think it dragged on for way too much. What could have looked like somebody could have lost their mind in the match. Next up, and then they just added Nakamura and Rusev, and it's like, why are they still together after mishaps with the United States Championship? Aleister Black and Ricochet were pretty entertaining, but they were just going to do their flip shit and just go with it. It just took multi super kicks to just finish off the job, and the Usos would regain. Still looking the strongest. This tag division should just unify the tag belts and get this over with, because this doesn't make anybody look strong. The Usos are literally the best tag team in the company with their new gimmick, that they had for a few years now. They have yet to find any big threats. All they need is a decent storyline and actually entertaining guys to contrast with other than the New Day. So, other than that, I was pretty entertained off this tag team match. So, we go to the cycle of decent matches until Shane and Miz. This was pretty good. Miz as the babyface and Shane as the heel. It's kind of a big surprising switch on me back after watching Fastlane. So, the spot was literally just punch, kicky, DDT. Just near fall after near fall. Shane McMahon just got toppled out and bounced off one little box, and it felt like, he's dead. Then there was the superplex from the outside. That was the biggest spot, but Shane came out with a surprise victory, so that was at least an unpredictable finish. That's a pretty exciting match. It was pretty decent. I liked it. Pretty exciting. Even if Mrs. Father, Shane was like, "Oh, you have to do it like this." It was a really sympathetic and exciting spot. So whenever Shane's in the ring, he's always entertaining. Next up was the shittiest match on the card. The Iconics. There's two Fatal 4-Way tag team matches. You see why I'm pissed off in a 5-hour pay-per-view. This match I barely saw, but the finish was just the Iconics would just roll up Sasha Banks for the victory to win the tag titles after one title defense. No, it was Beth Phoenix. So there was up from the top turnbuckle a glam slam, two frog splashes that look like that they're obviously not doing the spot because Nia Jax is fat as fuck. Tamina's only reasonably sized obese woman in the damn ring. There wasn't that much to begin with because Sasha Banks and Bayley are so not tag team material, and these women are really not that interesting. With a forced tag division, what these women do not need is an actually interesting division with actually interesting characters, except for these PG bitch ass pieces of shit at all. These Sasha and Bayley, I just hate them with a passion. Nia Jax obviously lost my interest in since being in the main roster. I don't know why Beth Phoenix is in the Hall of Fame after 7 years of not that much. Except if you, seriously, you can only remember her because of her little relationship she had with Santino. And that she, I think, beaten Candice Michelle for the women's title. It's literally it. And the Royal Rumble shit, but anything else I didn't care. This was a really forgettable tag team match. Except, there's a title change. Next up was the WWE Championship. And plus, most of these minor matches was before the Royal Rumble winner that was Seth Rollins that had to open the show and win the Universal title. And people are like, so that you're fucking retarded. He's the Royal Rumble winner, but we have to make a feel good moment because Kofi Kingston is black. Nigga, I'm being serious right now. I'm about to lose my patience. This was a decent match, but everybody knew that Kofi Kingston was gonna win because of what the New Day had for them. And plus, there was something online that I already had before the match even started. Was the New Day a new champ shit hit the store, and imagine if Daniel Bryan won, that'd be pretty bittersweet. So they obviously wanted to feel good in the moment. Kofi Kingston is WWE champion off a splash. Few Trouble in Paradises, SOS. It's been years, mainly for those times back in like the early 2010s. The Trouble in Paradise been the premier finisher. Like it's barely the SOS that ever gets a finish. It always gets a 2 count back in the day. Now it's used as a near finish move. That this was a pretty decent match. I don't know what they're trying to do with Daniel Bryan after losing the WWE Championship to somebody less popular than him over these last. That's been more popular than him in the last couple weeks, even though they're ripping off the same storyline for Daniel Bryan with the B plus player angle, and trying to use that as a hypocritical act to make Daniel Bryan succumb to more heat. I really didn't give a shit about this match. Congratulations to Kofi Kingston, but to be honest, I don't give a shit about this match. I'd rather see the guy who speared the fuck out of, that tackled the shit out of Bret Hart. Something else that made me upset. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. What might have been a good spot-horrific match. Rey Mysterio dressed as Mysterio from Spider-Man, one of the cooler villains, come up looking cool, look exciting. Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, two exciting guys that you know that can put up a clinic against anybody in the ring and make them look good. What did they do? It ends in 3 minutes. It was a bona fide squash match for Samoa Joe. Off the Kakina clutch off one reversal. 1619 was used in a near fall in a stupid ass finish. Do they really care about Samoa Joe and want to actually prove him to be a top guy? And Rey Mysterio in his return, he had a forgettable feud with Andrade, and then he was put up for the United States title reign out of nowhere. He didn't even earn it. All he did was pin Samoa Joe for. All he did was pin the U.S. champion. R-Truth was U.S. champion. Nakamura Rusev were U.S. champion. Nobody else was gunning for the belt. Nakamura and Rusev just put their shit beside them and just made a tag team. And Andrade just didn't give a fuck. He just went to the Battle Royal like anybody ever earned shit from the Battle Royal. Then next up was Roman Reigns' return after his leukemia. And guess what? He has Drew McIntyre. Because he beat him up. And says that it's his home. There's no storylines. The only lengthy storyline has been Batista and Triple H, and that was literally the best match on the card. Roman Reigns just did what he do best. Counter. There was a really good slam involving, I think it was a head scissors off for a lift, and then a huge slam off Drew McIntyre. He's scarily gifted. He's really scarily gifted. The entrance was alright. It just had niggas playing bagpipes and McIntyre walking through, while Roman Reigns just did the cock your fist thing like it's a shotgun and punch it through the entrance like he's been doing for the last couple of WrestleMania. So who cares? So the match was decent. You knew Roman Reigns had to win after battling leukemia, so I wasn't suspecting much. This was a really boring pay-per-view. I was 3 hours in, and I wanted to go to bed, but I know I had to continue watching. So that was literally the match. I did not care. I knew Roman Reigns was going to win because they need more feel-good moments to actually feel like this is an accomplishing WrestleMania. Like, they're always just wasting screen time. Like, why in the hell isn't Elias just feuding with John Cena? John Cena ain't shit because he never wants to actually put the real potential guys over. Kevin Owens didn't even have a match. What the fuck? What the fuck? Then Sami Zayn turned immediately heel on Raw the next night. Then you tell me that John Cena just returns with the thugonomic shit? Elias comes, does a pretty entertaining thing that he has a pianist that was himself and a drummer that was himself, and they actually made a nice little synth together, and it was really cool. Then John Cena came and made a shoot promo while rapping, saying that if movie sucks, you have no nuts, you ain't shit, I'ma shovel you, and this does nothing except that John Cena can, and he says something about turning heel, like he just wanted to make a shoot promo rap just to shock the fans, and people are tired out because no one's gonna watch a 5-hour pay-per-view with three little girls fighting for a belt, one that isn't established, Charlotte that's been women's champion so many times because WWE can't find an entertaining character, and Ronda Rousey, literally the most entertaining woman in the entire show, and I don't give a fuck. So the segment was unpredictable, but I don't care about John Cena anymore. Next up was the best match on the card, Batista and Triple H. It was really cool seeing Batista back with the security, driving, bloody bloody blah. Triple H comes back with Motorhead's The Game, and it was goddamn awesome. It was cool seeing Batista get his nose ring ripped off. It was brutal. Triple H using goddamn tools and shit, trying to torture the shit out of Batista, dislocate his fingers, try to break his arm, torture the shit out of Batista, because you beat up a 70-year-old man. While Triple H beat the shit out of a retard back in 2004 so many times. I'm talking about Eugene. If you haven't heard of him, look him up. It's not the best. We talk if politically correct gimmick, but for back then it was like, even for me, it made me chuckle a bit, and it was pretty likable of a character, even if they were plaguing on a mentally disabled wrestler. But it was really well done if you actually got to see him. Even though it'd make you cringe at times, you can understand why the fans had to vouch for him. Because he's retarded. Off a power bomb that they were trying to do a spot involving the table, but Batista got launched off to another table. There was a decent spot involving the sledgehammer. Batista, we thought it's like a near fall. Why would it care if Triple H's in-ring career ended? Why would it matter? Isn't he like a COO of the company and already involved in NXT? So what's the point of him continuing to wrestle? Batista said he's just gonna ruin your in-ring career. Shouldn't that be the least of your concerns? You don't get to wrestle. For any of these guys, they wish they wouldn't be wrestling in the WWE. Somebody like The Undertaker, John Cena, goddamn Big Show, or the Revival. It just, why wouldn't you just let Batista win? I don't understand. I know Batista was gonna lose, and that's what sucked about this damn pay-per-view, because they did nothing to change my interest. Next up was a pretty good finish later on. A Superman sledgehammer shot by Triple H. After Batista thought he had him on the ropes, while Ric Flair just snuck in a sledgehammer out of nowhere, like the good old days, because of what Batista did to start off this feud, beating the ever-living shit and dragging out goddamn Ric Flair's carcass to just show off against Triple H so we can give him what he wants to start this WrestleMania match. That wasn't that bad. This was a really good match. It was really violent, very brutal. Shawn Michaels was there. I'm shocked that they didn't do a spot with him. They just wanted him to commentate because they can have a sympathy angle. Next up, the shittiest match on the damn show. It was sloppy, boring, predictable. We knew Corbin was going to win so we can get him over. Because Kurt Angle can't do anything with Corbin. Thinks he's just retarded. He's not interesting. And he just ended it off a missed moonsault and then hit him with the end of days. It was just near fall after near fall. There was not much interest in this. There was not that much interest in it. It wasn't even a tables match or something cooler than that. It was just a stupid one-on-one that made no goddamn sense. Kurt Angle had to remember he had to put a cancer patient over because goddamn Baron Corbin's the most disinteresting wrestler in the damn company. And they let him fucking wrestle in a waist jacket. This is how it ends for Kurt Angle. Wow. A match where he had to put this guy over. And over the time, he had to wrestle against AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Chad Gable, just better wrestlers than Baron Corbin and a bit more interesting wrestlers than him. Next up was involving Bobby Lashley and the returning demon Finn Balor after him not showing up since I think like the last SummerSlam. Or he didn't. I don't care. It's been a minute. So it was cool. I did not understand his body paint at all. Lashley wasn't safe at all. This nigga came up with green contacts to make him look like a beast, I think, but failed miserably. Then they had Balor do the missile drop kicks, planchas. Rush gets beaten up. Then he gets the coup de grace a few times. It's literally a Finn Balor match. There's not much to call. There wasn't anything game-changing at all. Not even Lars Sullivan returning so he can beat the shit out of Lashley or something. What was this match? Just to see Finn Balor look like Darth Maul in the face. They continued to, goddamn hot potato the belt, and it was the most least interesting thing about the damn show. Then Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey. Goddamn. They even have the YouTube channel where NXT Superstars start viewing this shit, so obviously they were like, Kofi Kingston won. Mike nigga won. Yes, Mike nigga won. He did it. I'm done. We understand it's not a racial issue why Kofi Kingston is not WWE Championship material. So why continue? Next up was the triple threat match that was the weakest. Boring. Not only do you think WWE fans wants to waste time in a 5-hour show and not react to any of the big moves, saying these are like undersized women and a 6-foot-tall blonde beating the shit out of each other with missing enziguris. There was a missed natural selection, double natural selection. I don't even understand why she does that spot anyway. They barely even get the 3 count unless it's Dana Brooke. No one cares about Dana Brooke. And just crappy ways for multi-women botches. They couldn't even break the damn table. They just dented it on a table spot. Why wouldn't you just let Charlotte just spear goddamn Becky on the table for a table spot? I don't understand how you fucked up that table spot. Next up, they didn't even do the corkscrew senton that Charlotte does. Then it ended off the fireman's carry shit that Ronda does. Then just comes off to a crucifix by accident, even though her shoulders were up. But they counted that as a 3. So And it was even a botch, thanks I heard off rumors that it was supposed to end by just hitting the disarmer. By so many times hitting back the goddamn outside than the table. They didn't even grab any more weapons for a triple threat match that you're allowed to have weapons. This is supposed to be a game-changing WrestleMania. It's still 5 hours. You have a potentially nice roster with a mediocre decision making. You have crappy main event status women. It's not even main event status. Becky Lynch is only memorable for just talking shit to the other males, and you could have made her really big if you made her feuded with some of the males in the wrestling business. People were only excited for Becky Lynch to just face off against Ronda to see what Ronda and Becky could do. Then they just add Charlotte because Charlotte's tall and shit. And then this was winner takes all, so you made Asuka look irrelevant at all. It just made Asuka look like a fucking obstacle, even though Charlotte faced her in the previous WrestleMania. It just pinned her clean on SmackDown 2 weeks prior. What was this WrestleMania? What was this supposed to change? Nobody cared about the main event. Nobody. Look at the pay-per-view. The fucking fans barely reacted to a barely table smash spot. The fuck? 3 missed enziguris by Ronda Rousey. Why the fuck is she working triple threat matches with two workers? Why didn't she just have an easy one-on-one match where you could have had Becky Lynch just look strong? Have her hold the women's championship and put that on the line. What the fuck was this entire pay-per-view? You had Seth Rollins, your Royal Rumble winner, a guy that's been making Raw watchable a bit from last year because of his decent work rate matches with goddamn Dolph Ziggler and crap like that, and Dolph Ziggler, Miz, whoever the hell he worked with, it was at least semi-entertaining. And then you make him open the show after winning this year's Royal Rumble? What kind of shit is that? Kofi Kingston, they just, even though that spot was made up for Mustafa Ali and shit like that, they were like, Kofi Kingston, this is game changing. This is changing what? He's part of the New Day. It's like Nation of Domination is different. At least it looked like an invading faction. It was a faction. You're able to have a faction. The Rock was the biggest guy, and you could actually look at him and look like, oh, he looks like the top guy. He looks like the leader. Goddamn faggot makes himself a world champion. The New Day is over, I get it. And Kofi Kingston can never tear himself from that cloth at all. The pay-per-view failed at trying to produce a different feel, and it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see a female WWE Women's Championship main event. You don't know how much I would pine to actually see big change to make these women be taken seriously. But with a lack of build-up and trying to make these crazy bitches look like this is an enticeful feud, even though this has been so ran off the wall that they made a house show part of a storyline, you guys don't watch the show, don't you? Some of these guys go off the highlights. These guys look up at fucking rumors trying to think that this is the desperate pull for them to actually find something entertaining that can actually think Raw and SmackDown could actually be saved off these little changes. Having Ricochet and Aleister Black didn't do anything. You had Cena show up in one segment just to bury on the fact that they're doing nothing with fucking Elias since the last several months. And Braun Strowman is on the kickoff show to fuck around with SNL faggots, except for trying to challenge Brock Lesnar after what the fuck they did to him back at January after messing with his limousine. Braun Strowman didn't even have another opportunity for the Universal Championship. Not even on goddamn Fastlane. They didn't. They just set Seth Rollins' chance in stone, and then he just opens the show after going through a Royal Rumble when he was like number 15 in the damn Royal Rumble. Then you had two Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship matches. The women's tag team match was so forgettable, and only for a few couple spots. The only thing you would be excited about if you really like Beth Phoenix that much and you care about the women's division. I don't. Thanks, I lost entrance since 2016. Thanks, I know they don't give a fuck and there's not enough women that can actually be interesting. Alexa Bliss, one of the actual charismatic women in the damn roster, and she's hosting the damn show, except being in a fatal four-way with these three bitches. And then we got the Revival that I don't know why the fuck they're still there, even though they've been tag team champions for the longest so far, while goddamn the Usos had to trade titles with damn Miz and Shane. It's hard. And then you have Batista lose against Triple H because of quality reasons, just to make Triple H look strong, even though the guy's nearly 50. What was this show? What new era is this if there was no Impact? Yes, Kofi won. But what did that change? Kofi has no personality. He has no intrigue. His faction doesn't do much except pander to little kids. This era means nothing. This WrestleMania wasted a combined 7 hours of your viewing pleasure, even though I'd rather be watching something else. And that's the dangerous part of this. Where was the NXT call-ups? They called 7 of these fuckers. Lacey Evans didn't do crap. EC3 was an afterthought in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. He wasn't even a factor after so many stupid goddamn cigarette exposed promos. Nikki Cross is an afterthought after being on the Raw and SmackDown for like 1 week and then losing clean several times. And they understand, what's Sanity? And then you had Sanity. Eric Young wasn't even involved in the Battle Royal. This was the worst WrestleMania I've ever played witness to. The way it was structured sucked. The storytelling sucked. The way they tried to make these mid-carders feel like they're main eventers sucked. The way they fucked over Ronda Rousey sucked. The way they made Batista just look like he was just another irritating little cunt for Batista, for Triple H to just hammer on by all because he was an older wrestler sucked. What did you change? This was a 5-hour pay-per-view that did nothing. You had Braun Strowman on kickoff. Who wants to do that? I wouldn't fucking do that on Universe mode. It gets a fucking 3 out of 10. And whoever thinks otherwise, no, this WrestleMania gets a 5. Go suck my fucking dick. There was 3 watchable matches on the damn card. And you know they're not replaying those storylines. Batista and Triple H is just like Sting and Triple H back at WrestleMania 31. Shane and Miz, I don't see them doing anything else with that storyline. And Ricochet and Aleister Black can kill me. The Revival sucks. The triple threat match was so tedious, boring, and so try-hard to think that they were making a physical match. Even though these bitches start hurting themselves, there was already lacerations, cuts, what looked like goddamn Ronda Rousey had a fucking infection in her goddamn leg, and Becky Lynch could barely lift a soul. It was really bad. This was a really bad show. If I see shit like this come Tampa, I will fucking stop watching wrestling. In general. There was some positives, I gotta say. I'm not gonna end the video just acting negative. Braun Strowman looked exciting and he actually was well built. Batista and Triple H wrestling in the match was pretty entertaining. The Shane and Miz spot was good. And seeing a women's match on the main event of WrestleMania was a game changer. There, you got my 2 cents. That was the positives. And the rest are fucking negative. It was a bad show. And if I watch this bullshit again, that I won't. There has been no replayability in the past 5 WrestleManias. And don't give me some bullshit at WrestleMania 30 because that shit was trash too. I don't care. Y'all better say that in the comments. That crap was terrible. Thank you for watching. I really miss you guys. I want to improve this channel. And fuck, I'm sorry for missing out. WrestleMania 35 an experience. It was an experience, and that's all I can say. I never said it was a positive one. Thanks for watching. I really hate myself.